Welcome to the next instalment of Puptime Chats. Unfortunately, well, no, not unfortunately, it is just me this time. Since the introduction video, I haven't really done a talk just by myself. And this talk is going to purely be on autism and how it affects me personally. I've also got bits and pieces from other people talking about how it affects them. So yeah, I'm just going to delve right in. So the first thing is, what is autism? Autism is a wide spectrum, and lots of people have it in different variations. I am high functioning, which means that in my daily life I don't necessarily need that much help compared to a standard neurotypical person. Just for context, a neurotypical person is someone who doesn't have autism, is able to see the world in the way it's supposed to be seen. Autistic people tend to find it hard to communicate with others. They can find it hard to understand how others think. They struggle to read body language. You know, some of them really, really struggle to understand sarcasm. I do. I really struggle to understand sarcasm if it's not blatantly obvious. A lot of the time they can get anxious or even very upset about unfamiliar situations and events. They can even find physical stimulants like bright lights and loud music overwhelming and stressful. It takes me back to when I was taken to a birthday party and it was a 70s disco. The bass was so loud, it triggered a massive meltdown within me that I was actually being physically sick due to the noise. And at that time, my parents didn't know that I had autism, and they thought I was having just a panic attack. But I was about 7, so yeah, autism has come a long way over the last 10 years, 20 years. In my opinion. Again, I want to say I'm not professional in any of this. I've done my research. I've looked it up. I've got my notes here. And yeah, like I said, I'm doing this from a personal perspective. But one thing I do want to clarify is it is not an illness of the brain. Your brain is just wired differently. And you know, most autistic people live a full life by themselves independently. Moving on, however, there are some bad myths and bad stigmas attached to autism. The big one, obviously, for some reason, people seem to think that vaccines cause autism. It's been highly disproven that it doesn't. It's also not caused by bad parenting. It's also not caused by a kid's diet. And for some reason, this I've got from the NHS itself. Another bad myth about it is that you can't get it from an infection. That's just weird to me. But going through it, autistic people, you know, can be really intelligent. Like I said, brains wired differently. Some, however, just need help, a little bit of help looking after themselves. And that's perfectly alright. A lot of people do need help. I need a lot of help. Dear God. Linking in, autistic people may also have other conditions, like I do. I have ADHD, and that's such a damn contrast with each other. You know, autistic people are more susceptible to anxiety, depression, and, you know, autistic people, there is a higher rate of epilepsy. So those are, other conditions that can be linked with autism. Autism and ADHD. I'm more of a 50-50 split, but usually it's a one weighs more heavily on the other than the other. So you can be more autistic or you can be more ADHD. Anxiety and depression, I've got both of those. If you've watched previous Puptime Chats, when I was chatting with Pup Jessie about mental health. And coming back to the NHS website, there are fake treatments that exist, and they can be really harmful to a person. And some of them are just, to me, absolutely mental and weird. So, going down, obviously, vitamins, minerals, and diet supplements, they're not that harmful. I wouldn't start them on your kids too young. That's just weird. I know they do kids vitamins. Special diets like gluten-free, keto diet, that doesn't really have an effect. Bleaching is one as well, which can also be named as chlorine dioxide or mineral miracle solution. GCMAF, which is an injection made from blood cells. Neurofeedback is a great one, where brain activity is checked, and then the patient in question is told how to monitor their behaviour and how to change it. And hyperbaric oxygen therapy. Again, this is my personal, opinion against it. I don't, I just don't agree with it. So we're going to move on to the main stages of autism. Main signs. I'm really struggling today with my words. Finding it hard to understand what others are thinking and feeling. To me, if you say to me, if I, for example, role play, "Hi, how are you?" "Oh, I'm great, thanks." To me, that comes across as, "Oh yeah, you're absolutely fine. Let's carry on with how we're going." Even if you said it in a way that isn't that great. "Hey, how are you?" "Oh yeah, I'm okay, I'm alright." I'm like, "Alright, sweet. Moving on." I get very anxious in social situations. Sometimes it's really hard for me to want to go to a pup event, especially when I'm struggling really, really hard. But I won't necessarily get better if I don't go, but I won't necessarily get better if I do go, if that makes sense. But I know that I have to go in order to kind of prove to myself that I can be fine in it. And I always, as soon as I step into like a new situation, I always have to plot out where my exits are. And that's another reason why, it sounds weird. It's a reason why I smoke, especially when I go and help out at events. One of the first things that I do is go and ask someone where the smoking area is. Because, the moment that everything starts to feel on top of me, I know that I can go straight outside for a cigarette, and I'm outside. There's nothing enclosing me, either on the ceiling, because obviously smoking inside's not allowed. So, yeah, smoking is, one of the things that I shouldn't be doing. But it's always been there as a kind of a safety crutch when I'm in a new situation. Here's another one I've struggled throughout my whole entire life. Finding it hard to make or keep friends. I know a lot of people turn around and be like, well, I'm your friend. I'm not saying you aren't my friend. What I'm saying is I'm constantly reevaluating our friendship, constantly questioning myself. Am I being a good enough friend? Am I being, is that friendship there? And, the second that you stop talking to me or messaging me, checking up on me, I'm like, well, friendship's gone. And I'll just drop it. And that's how I lose my friends, because I'm constantly questioning. And it's exhausting. Another main sign can be kind of like seeming blunt, rude, or uninterested in what, you're trying to say. We're not. We're gauging what you're saying, we're processing, and we're trying to figure out the best response. We take things so literally. Like I said, I really struggle with sarcasm. It's actually caused issues with me in previous, romantic relationships. When they're joking around, I get massively upset. Sorry, I did not mute my phone. Another thing is having the same routine and getting really anxious if it changes. This is one that I'm buzzing to explain a bit more. So I may not seem like I have a massive routine. I do. It's in my head. And my body is wired to that routine. Now, it's not strictly on a time scale. I've got to do things, I've got to wake up at 7 a.m, I've got to have breakfast by 8:30, I've got to, shower by God knows when. But I have a certain routine in which I do my morning routine, in what I do during the day. If I'm having a day at home or a day off, I tend to, wake up, go shower, have breakfast, game for a bit on Xbox, and then I won't leave my house until 3 o'clock's gone, because I find it, my brain won't let me leave until 3 o'clock's gone for some reason. That's a routine on a day off. So something that is, in my personal opinion, shift working when you have autism is very difficult, because your routine is just left, right, centre changing. It's, you feel so unsettled. And I think a lot of bosses, employers, don't realise the effect of, having employed an autistic person, having that change of routine, every week. It's just so draining, trying to keep up with it, I've been late to work many times, I've had to call in sick many times, because the routine's just changed and I'm just gone, and my head's just gone. Once, I was starting work at 6:30 in the morning, and I got up, got up at 5, got ready for work, and I blanked out. I had a burnout. I'll explain that later on. I had a burnout and I blanked out for about 3-4 hours. Nothing. I have no recollection of that 3-4 hours. And then when I rushed into work, very dangerously, because I was in a full-blown panic attack, they sent me home. So instead of, calling them or anything, my mind just went, shh, I've got to be there. And yeah, it didn't go well. Moving on, we don't understand social rules. A lot of time we plan and plot a script in our head as to how we answer, just general small talk. Like I said, it's very, very draining. Another thing you'll notice from autistic people is that we avoid eye contact a lot. because it makes us so uncomfortable. One thing I like to say a lot is my skin crawls, and it genuinely does feel like that when I have to force eye contact with someone. It's not fun. I know it's not great. I've worked on it a lot. Like I said, it's, autistic people generally tend to mask so they can fit in with neurotypical people. But I saved the best for last. Getting too close to people, or getting upset if someone touches you or gets too close. Now, I have days, I'm more of the second one. I don't like to encroach on people's personal space. I will step back, so there's social distancing malarkey that's going on. I am a pro at that. But if someone gets too close to me without, warning, or if they've just come up from behind, my skin would just go horrible. I'll just, want to claw at my own skin. Just feel so uncomfortable if someone touches me without, myself having mentally prepared for it. So hugs, if you go hug, but you stay back, it's great. It's great because then I can slightly mentally prepare myself, give a hug, and then we can move on with our day. But if someone comes up behind me, completely out of the blue, no, please don't. It scares me. Ooh, and another one that I am actually very, very proud of having is noticing small details that neurotypical people won't notice. It's great because it's, I like to pride myself on a very amazing motorbike rider, and I haven't got a single speeding ticket. I haven't got a single ticket at all for my driving, my riding. And, I'm notoriously amazing at picking out my route on the road. So, when you're like on a motorbike or a bicycle, you have like 3 positions on your road. Especially when you go around a corner. I'm kind of gone off on one now because motorbikes. Yeah. Moving on to something a bit more serious before we get back to the fun pros of autism is autistic burnout. Something that isn't talked about very often and is not being extensively researched. So I've had to get all of these notes from a website called spectrumnews.org, which is really, really, really knowledgeable with autism, and a lot of it I have identified with. So autistic burnout can show itself in 4 different ways. There's possibly more, I don't know. Again, this is all personal research. It's all stuff I want to talk about. And, the first one is intense physical, mental, and emotional exhaustion, which can often be accompanied by a loss of skills. Something that I was able to do yesterday, if I'm having a burnout, I might not be able to do in a couple of days. It's so tiring when you end up having a burnout. You can have more difficulty managing your emotions, be prone to outbursts of sadness and anger. I've definitely had that when I've just been so overcome, just burst out. It can also manifest to intense anxiety, and if you have depression, it can contribute to depression, and it can, give you suicidal behaviour. Which is really quite worrying if, you don't know that you have, like, autism. You could be high functioning, and you're having a burnout and you just get suicidal behaviours. It's terrifying. And like I said, autistic researchers have only just become aware of burnout as a phenomenon over the last 5 years. So, like I said, it's a relatively newly identified topic. I only just found out about it like a couple of days ago when I was doing some research on it, and I've identified with it a lot. I know I said there were 4. I lied. I miscounted. I can't count. I'm a simple doggo. Oh. So, what causes a burnout? Simply put, the consequence of masking, which is a strategy in which autistic people mimic neurotypical people and neurotypical behaviour by using scripts for small talk, forcing eye contact, and suppressing the autistic behaviours. Again, it's really tiring doing that. Sorry, let me just pull this up. As my amazing puppy sister Pepper said to me when I asked her what autistic burnout felt for her, she said, and I quote, "Just so exhausting, it feels like I can't think, feel or see properly anymore. When it's happened before, I've usually become very angry and frustrated, followed by tears of sheer exhaustion." She's proud of being autistic, as it has helped her achieve a lot, and no one should be made to feel ashamed of the way they were born. But often it is draining because you have to shape to fit the world because it won't bend to you, and it is very draining. Yeah. There are ways to help if someone's having an autistic burnout and you're able to recognise. You could help them remove from the situation that's helping them, that's contributing to the burnout. You can, if if you know autistic people, to have a little chat with them, help them become a bit more self-aware, and learn their triggers, or learn your triggers if you're autistic. I'm still in the process of learning my triggers because I have a lot. But we're going to move on to the positives of autism and why, we carry the stereotype of being gifted. Oh, I hit myself. I'm a sad puppy now. So, positives: attention to detail, the thoroughness and accuracy. I'm great at reading through people's work, spotting grammatical errors very quickly, spotting spelling mistakes. Autistic people can also have a methodical approach, being very analytical and spotting patterns and repetition in things. They also have very, very deep focus and concentration on something they want to focus on, in my opinion. If you give them something they're not interested in at all, you'll lose their attention very quickly. From what I think. Then again, I have ADHD, so it could be a mixture of those for me. They also have a very outside of the box way of thinking of things. Instead of doing things a specific way, they could do it, very, very differently. Who knows? Like I said, very, very good observational skills. They have the listen, look, learn approach. I don't. I have to be... look. Lol. I was going to say I have to be shown what I need to be learnt, and I said that. Autistic people can be very creative as well. I attribute my musical skills to my autism. I can pick up most instruments and learn to play it within a day at most. Not, obviously, to master proficiency, but to a proficiency in which I can safely say that I can play it. and we have a distinctive imagination and a great expression of ideas. We also, I know this, some people are great at this, can absorb and retain facts. And that is actually quite stereotypically shown when you see like a TV show or movie of an autistic person. They're constantly there spouting facts. Random. The other thing that they have, which I really hope to... Oh, bugger, what's the word? I really hope to... I hope to align myself with, I think is the word, I'm hoping that's the word that I'm looking for, is tenacity and resilience, determination. Some like to challenge opinions. I am quite non-confrontational. Confrontation scares me. So, yeah, that is, being determined in what you think, I think. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Again, this is just me saying my personal views on autism. And again, I don't want to offend anyone. So I'm trying to be as sensitive as I can and trying to cover my back. But again, like I said, this is personal to me. Other positives is visual skills. We tend to have stronger visual learning and recall. We're more likely to be accepting of differences because we know how hard it can be for us. And we're less likely to judge others, and we can question the norms, because what's normal for you might not be normal for us. Simple as. We tend to, once we latch on to something, we obsess over it and we get such a in-depth knowledge of it. And integrity, we tend to be very honest, very loyal people and very committed, which when you try and have a relationship with autism, as I've found, you end up getting more committed than the other person. You end up getting more loyal to the other person. You end up dropping every bit of you to become the person that they want. I know most people will say, well, then you just haven't found the right person. It's with every relationship. I have 1,000 different personalities for 1,000 different people that I talk to. And again, it's tiring. I don't think I even know who my base personality is anymore, because I've just got so used to being told that I'm annoying, I'm irritating, I'm weird, be quiet, I talk too loudly. So I mask, and I don't want to mask, but it's hard to be the person that you should be when the whole world, as you're growing up through your teenage years, has told you that you're wrong and has bullied you for having weird tastes. Wow, that went serious for a second there. I apologise for the seriousness. My brain wandered. I hope not to have put you off. Like I said, this was just a quick, well, not quick, it's been half an hour, mate. It's just been a little talk about autism from my perspective, and I hope it's made some of you question why some of your friends who've got autism, because it's quite wide, it's not rare. yeah, just makes you question yourself and how you act towards an autistic person, and hopefully may help you may make you take a step back and think about what you're going to say before you say it, before you do an action like going in to hug them from behind if they're not aware of your presence, or something like that. I just, that's the whole purpose, is from my perspective and from who I've talked to about this. We struggle to fit into a neurotypical world, and the entire time that we've been told to, accept who we are and accept who we're going to be is difficult, because another part of the world is saying, no, that's wrong, you've got to fit in with society. So just think how a autism person, wow, that is a new one on me, autistic person views the world. And if you ask an autistic person, they'll talk with you about it from a distance, socially distancing. Remember, guys, 6 feet away. So, yeah, I'm going to wrap up now because I'm rambling. I'm rambling again. It's been 31 minutes and I'm rambling. But I hope that this was a educational video from a person who definitely struggles with the communicative side of autism. And I hope that you guys carry on with my Puptime Chats. Still watch, like, subscribe, comment, follow me on Twitter. All great things there. And I will see you for the next one. See you later, pups.